Greetings. I am Erin Patton, Metaphysical Master in a Millennial Age, and it is my life's purpose to guide you and organizations along an enlightened path. So I invite you to sit comfortably and tune in as I welcome you to the Meta Business Millennial, where we get the real conversations you won't get in the boardroom so that we understand this is exactly the path we need to be on in order to grow, evolve, and thrive. Greetings. I am Erin Patton, also known as Master L, and welcome to the Meta Business Millennial Podcast. I am joined here today by none other than Saras Naidoo, who is a cancer freedom holistic coach. And I have to say, for the first time in my life, I have not heard of this type of path, yet it is certainly one that intrigues me because being from Houston, living in Houston, we are the health center of the world, especially as it relates to cancer treatments. And one thing I don't hear as part of this community are people who are actually coaching folks through the process and helping them to heal inside and out and getting past these diagnoses and all the trauma that comes from it. So without further ado, welcome Ms. Saras to the Meta Business Millennial.
Thank you so much, Erin. It's such an honor to be here speaking with you today. And I know a little bit about the work you do, and I honor you for doing that work as well.
Thank
I guess
you.
we are all here to make a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
And do the best we can. Yes.
Absolutely. And I want to just start with just that, because what we do is making a difference in the world, and what you're doing is very unique. I would love for you to just share, like, how did you get into this? Like, what was the catalyst that inspired this journey? Because I know it's an illustrious one.
Yes. Well, it all started with my own journey with breast cancer 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And today I'm a cancer warrior.
Come on now.
Yes, but let's take you back to 10 years ago, actually 12 years ago, when my husband was diagnosed with kidney cancer.
Okay.
And I was a high school teacher at that time. And when he was there was no family history in his family or mine, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And to give you the backstory, we lived a very healthy lifestyle. I'm a master gardener. I grew my own food. I cooked my own food. I did everything from scratch. We were very active, and still cancer hit my husband, and then 2 years later, me with breast cancer. And I couldn't figure out, where this came from. So I started doing the research. I didn't even know what cancer was. So I started researching, what is this and why did it come to us,
Yeah.
And I was always spiritually inclined, even though I came from a Hindu background, but we didn't follow any religion as such. To me, I followed the spiritual path from day one.
Yeah.
Was not full into it, until this cancer came to us. And the more research I did, the more I found out that, this was, cancer was not really a disease. It was a symptom really of something far greater that was happening in our bodies.
Yes.
And my quest was to find out what that was and what caused this. And that sent me on a roller coaster path, of transformation, actually. And later on, I found that the cancer really was my gift. It was my messenger.
Yeah.
It came to give me this really powerful message. You know how you get the little messages along the way, and you ignore them and you don't pay attention, and then you get the big one, and it stops you in your tracks.
That
and
part.
That's what this cancer did, And so I started journaling, and I started writing a daily journal of what I was going through, not thinking anything of it, because I just wanted to keep track for myself. And my husband did the same. And just so he was given 4 months to live. and he thrived. It's a good, happy story. He thrived for 9 years.
Come on, God.
And yes, and he was stage 4 kidney cancer when we found out. And I remember sitting with him when he was given that diagnosis, and I looked at him and I said, as long as you are breathing, you can be helped. And I have no idea to this day where that came from.
Mm.
And it stuck. And so and then 2 years later, when I was diagnosed, I knew there was something more to this.
Yeah.
So I started doing the deep work, the deep inner work.
Yeah.
And that's when I got the answers. And I was looking for a cancer coach, and I could not find anyone to help me. We have a really good medical system here in Canada, but in addition to the oncologist and the team and the medical team, I needed somebody that I could talk to that would answer the questions that the medical team could not answer. And there was nobody to be found. You're talking 10 years ago. I could not find anyone. And as I went deeper and deeper into my inner work, I got the message that I had to do this work. No, that's your job. You have to do this work. I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know too much about this. Where do I start? And you know how in your head you ask these questions, right? And boom, as soon as I accepted the fact that I had to do this work, the emails showed up in my inbox. I started taking the courses. I became a Reiki master. I became a hypnotherapist, life coaching, shamanism, and now I'm a medium. I mean, really, it seems when you are ready, the teachers show up.
I love
The student
that.
is ready, the teachers show up. And that's exactly what happened. And I cannot tell you how much joy it gives me when I'm able to talk to people about my journey and help friends and family through their journey, because I don't know anyone that hasn't been hit by cancer, that knows a friend or a family member that's going through this journey. And over the years, we've helped so many friends and family. We'd invite them to come over and chat with us and just talk about the things that we did that helped us on our journey. And a big part of that was finding the balance, the mind, body, spirit balance.
That
You
part.
cannot just do the medical thing and get by and think you're going to get well, right?
Right.
Your body you have to be in balance, not just your body.
Yeah.
So we have to bring all these different aspects in order to be in balance. If one of those things are out of balance, then you are out of balance.
100%.
And this is how I use the tools that I use, of Reiki and hypnotherapy through that process of healing.
I love that. There are so many things that you said that resonated with me. The first being when you received your diagnosis. Like, it's one thing to support someone else on a healing journey. It's another thing when you've been diagnosed with cancer, which for most people, sounds like a death sentence. And then, so when you're faced with death, you can either fold, which a lot of people do, and succumb, or you can choose an alternative path, and that's the path of healing and the path of coming home to yourself.
Yes.
And that to me is so inspiring, because you're getting this, this death sentence by someone, and you're just looking death in the face very squarely and saying, I choose differently. Yes. That takes, first of all, a lot of courage. So I just want to congratulate you for making that choice for humanity, because it wasn't just for you, it was for all of humanity.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. And as soon as you made that choice, look what God did. Look what universe did, and blessing you with gifts. The gift of Reiki, the gift of hypnotherapy healing, the gift now of being able to be a channel and a medium for other people. And this is what happens when you choose differently. And this resonates so deeply with me, because on my own path, I've had a lot of challenges, a lot of trauma that I always go into on my podcast.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to know that as conscious beings, human beings, we have choices, we have free will, and we have the free will to decide, do I live or do I fold? Do I die?
Mm-hmm.
In either choice is okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, when we choose life, it's always a blessing. It's always
Yes.
a blessing. And so you started talking also a little bit of how you started to help people and how you started to use some of these tools. And we don't get a chance to dig too deeply into the execution of these gifts. I would love for you to share more about how you utilize your hypnotherapy. What does that look like? How are you utilizing your Reiki? What are some of the medium experiences that you've had? Let's dig a little bit more deeper into the metaphysical things.
Okay, I love that.
Me too. Me too.
Yes. Right away when I get into that energetic mode of healing, and then the
Hmm.
energy comes through already, and we all have healing energy. And
Yes.
as nurturers, as women, I mean, it's all there, right? It's in
Mhm.
our hands. And when we nurture our pets and our babies and anyone around us, you just caress them, and right away you are providing healing. So
Yes.
I'm no different than anybody else, and I'm just a conduit. The first thing I tell anybody that I work with, I'm not the healer, you are. All I can do is help
Mm.
you on your path, right?
Yes.
To heal yourself, to bring you to find that inner power. The three keys that I teach is, first of all, getting over that fear. And
Mhm.
through Reiki, we do different practices that help you with that. And then we help you to find your inner power. We all have it. We just lose it
Yes.
along the way.
Yep.
And then lastly is, I teach a vibrational emotional scale, going from the low vibrations of anger and fear and all those to the high vibrations of joy and happiness, and staying there. and
Yeah.
that's how you become a warrior.
Yes.
That's the warrior mode that I talk about. But
Mhm.
actually using the Reiki, there's a lot of work I do with them one-on-one, but I also give them a lot of work that they can do on their own, because remember, it's a two-way process. I help you to help yourself, right? And then with the hypnotherapy, we go like really into the deep states of meditation, uh, to the DNA level, and actually find out what caused the cancer. It may not even be this generation, it could have been generations before,
Oh,
right? So we
okay.
go to the core of that, find out the cause, and then work on it from that level. And
Mm.
then we do the intergenerational healing as well, where
Mm.
you heal the seven generations before and seven generations after. So that's what I did through shamanism. And so the cancer stops with me.
That
It does
part.
not go further to
Yeah.
my female line, my daughters, my granddaughters, and so on.
Yeah.
um, with Reiki, we deal with the seven main chakra points, right?
Yep.
I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Mhm.
And I mean, there are a lot more chakras, but we deal with these main seven. And then when I do a Reiki session, I scan the body to see where the blocks are, and I find them. And each chakra is associated with the organs that are around that chakra. In my
Yes.
case, it was my heart chakra that was compromised, right?
Mm.
Because my breast cancer was on my left breast.
Mhm.
And I did a lot of work with my heart chakra. And the cause of that was underlying stress, which I found out later that I didn't know I had. And taking care of everyone else but myself,
Yep.
right? We all are familiar with that. And so then when I started doing the inner work, and I got over the feeling that it's okay to give to myself, and it's okay
Mhm.
to receive. Receiving
Mhm.
is a gift in itself.
Mhm.
And I had to learn the hard way to accept that. And
Mhm.
once I gave into that, things really changed for the better, you
Mm.
know. And so with all this experience now, anything that I teach and talk about is what I experienced or what I researched. I will never talk about something that I don't know.
That part.
Yeah. So anything that people agree or don't agree with me, it's my story, right?
Mhm,
It's only what
mhm.
I know. And
Right.
that's all I can teach.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, what you're doing is just so beautiful because it really is inviting people to do that work.
Mhm.
And by doing and I understand what you're saying in terms of your modality of doing the scan of the chakras. And the chakras people is chakra for the breakdown is a Sanskrit word for
Mhm.
wheel. And very simply, a chakra represents an energy wheel.
Yes.
And the energy wheels are spinning in our energetic body that is
Mhm.
actually connected to our physical body, all the way from the top of our head to our butt, to our
Yes.
tailbone. And
Yes.
so when we're looking at our energy centers, we have them all the way up, and our heart is the actual middle of the energy centers. So for many of us, our heart and our solar plexus are deeply impacted. Just
Yes.
being
Yes.
on this planet
Always do
in
that.
general, yeah, just being in this planet, being in this prison matrix, our heart and our solar plexus are deeply impacted because we are generally not allowed to live in our truth and in our freedom. And so it's so
Absolutely.
apropos that you're a freedom coach because when you are able to have an open heart and an open soul, then you are truly free.
Yeah. I
And
couldn't have said it better myself, Erin. Yeah. In my master class, I go through all the chakras and all the organs that they connected to, and I go more into detail with all that. Yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
love doing that energy work. It just you feel the energy when you're working through it, and all the different bodies. We go through all that, the physical body, the astral body, the energetic body.
Mhm.
And yeah, I do a 1 hour master class. In fact, I just finished one last week, so I do them quite often. Yes.
That's great. And I want to just dig more deeper into your upbringing because you
Hmm.
mentioned that you come from a Hindi background.
Yes. Yes.
And for a lot of us that are on the Western world, we really don't have this kind of upbringing around spirituality.
Yes.
Whereas you were literally born into it as
Yes.
part of your programming. I would
Hmm.
love to understand if any at all, if there's a link between your Hindi practices or experiences and how maybe they started to show up as you were going on your journey in the past 10 years.
Absolutely, it did.
Hmm.
Because I don't follow any of the heavy rituals and everything that they do, right?
Hmm.
But when I got married, I was born and raised in South Africa,
Oh,
just
wow.
go even further back. And but my ancestors came from India
Okay.
in the 1820s. And then and I lived through the apartheid era in South
Yeah.
Africa.
Yep.
And so my husband and I, as soon as we were married, even before we got married, we talked about leaving because we didn't want to bring up our family there. So we immigrated to Canada. So I've
Hmm.
been living in this beautiful country for about 45 years now. But
Wow.
South Africa is always my first home.
Mm.
And, such a beautiful country, and the people are beautiful, the ones we know or we were allowed to know. So and then from there, when I got married, my in-laws or were more into the rituals and that. And I was not one to follow tradition. I questioned everything, and my husband, of course, didn't even do any of this kind of stuff. He didn't even believe in that, but he didn't discourage me from doing anything. So anyway, when I questioned this, and I asked my mother-in-law, well, why do we do this? Like, why do we light the lamp? Why do we need this in our lives? And she says, well, we just do it. She couldn't explain the reason why, right? And I thought, no, that's not good
Mm.
enough for me. So I started studying religions of the world. I started studying all the different religions of the world. And I did find a common thread through all of them. It was, the part of spirituality that was present in all the religions, but it was not practiced enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what stuck with me. I found the same message throughout all the religions. But I always had my own belief system. So I didn't bother doing all that traditional stuff until much later, when I did get my cancer diagnosis and I went back and I thought, all these answers came to me. Well, the light, that lamp that you are lighting every day is the light within you.
That part. Mm-hmm.
And when I had that realization, I light this lamp every morning when I get up. I have my own ritual that I do. And imagine that's my light that I light for the day. And wherever I go, that light shines brightly. So yes, and I think everyone has their own understanding of everything that they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it was with me, and that's how I understand everything that I do. It has to make sense to me, otherwise I don't do it.
Yes, I love that, because the key to what you're saying here is curiosity. Like,
Yes.
you're remaining curious, and in addition to your curiosity, you're remaining open. And I feel like that is just a signal of the times, because what your mother experienced, what her mother and so on, was a different age. And I've gone into this a little bit on the show, but not too much. But we're coming out of the Piscean age, which was the age of believing. And when we're believing, we're like blindly believing, like we're believing maybe and don't even have to see it or know it. Whereas now in the Aquarian age, we're in a space
Age of Aquarius.
We have to know. We need to know. And when to know, it means to understand. I like to say, not
The knowing.
understand, not overstand, but you have to understand.
Yes.
And it's in the understanding that we know what is the truth. And the way we come to knowing is through what you mentioned earlier, was the experience.
Yes.
And being able to have the experience, the lived experience of going through a very challenging time, going through a near-death experience, going through, this Hindu practice, and seeing that there really isn't much more than just some rituals here that aren't really connecting more deeply to who I am. So how do I make that more deeper connection? So I'm really glad too that you shared your background around where you came from, because I did not know that you were born in South Africa. And being born during the apartheid era too, like you said, it's carrying a heavy, heavy weight. Like, my parents experienced segregation here in US, and I was essentially a product of that era of American apartheid. And also feeling the heaviness on my heart. I've been doing a lot of work on healing my heart and healing the grief that I've been carrying, that likely wasn't my own grief. That likely was my parents' grief or my grandparents' grief, which, my parents, have dealt with a lot of health challenges. My dad unexpectedly passed away in 2017 from heart complications, among other things. And my mom, a few months later, ended up attempting suicide because she was dealing with some very serious mental health challenges that now have her in a dementia state. So I'm a full-time caregiver for my mom, and she's actively working on healing and reversing her dementia, which I fundamentally believe in. So kind of how, my mom was given a stage 4, diagnosis of dementia a couple years back. And I'm just like, no way. Like, we're going to see 20 more years out of you, Mom, because you got it in you. And she wants it for herself, which is like you said, the critical point is that I have to decide, no. I don't want to receive that. And so I want to dig a little bit more deeply into your work with your clients, because this healthcare system is designed to run as it does. And we can get into all the criticism and all the things and blah, 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 but that's not really necessary when it comes to the reality of the situation of working with a human being.
Absolutely.
So talk to us about kind of how that goes, especially when someone's coming to you so despondent. I'm getting chills because I can already embody like how it is. They're just
Hmm.
like, Saras, I am about to die. Like my doctor told me I have a few months to live.
Yes.
How do you, first of all, start that conversation with someone who is literally near death?
Yes. And I have, well, someone that I'm going to be meeting with to do a breakthrough session with them coming up soon. And that's exactly what they came with. I was just diagnosed, what do I do? Well,
Yeah.
the first thing that I do is just listen and not say a word.
Mm,
Just listen and let them just get their story out. Because in many cases, I don't think anyone would listen to them. I mean, really listen, right? That's why we have 2 ears and one mouth, because we listen twice as much as we talk. So once they talk about what they are going through, uh, and then I slowly would go into step one, is working around their fear. Because remember, you can't do any work when somebody is frozen in fear,
that
right?
part.
You
Yes.
can't.
You cannot.
So, yeah. So, step by step, small steps, very small steps. Because from my own experience, when you are given the diagnosis, especially when I was going through the chemo, when you have a chemo brain, you can't even think like a 2-year-old, leave alone trying to figure out what somebody is telling you to do, right? So you got to talk in that language so that they understand, and slowly and step by step by step. And we work on, uh, like I talked about the emotional scale, we find out where they are on that scale, what number they're at from number 1 to 10, right? And one being, I can't hear you, Erin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's what I was trying to check actually.
Yeah.
How do you do that measurement?
I show them a scale, and I ask them, okay, if you look at the scale now, where are you on that scale? Are you
Mhm.
feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling fear? What are you feeling, right? Emotionally. And when they tell me that, and I ask them, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you are? And they'll give me a number, and I write it down at the beginning. And then as I work with them, I ask them that same question again at the end. And some of them will go up 2 points, some of them will stay the same. And this is how I know what the next step is to do with them, by
Mm,
using that scale.
mm.
And if they exactly where they are, then I go deeper into what I was working with. And if they are going up, then I go into the next level and give them, a little more and a little more, and slowly get them up that scale. But then
Mm.
as human beings, we go up and down that scale, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's I mean, that's being human.
Mm.
But the goal at the end is to get up on that scale and learn how to stay in that high vibration.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
so many things that you can do, but you cannot just go from low to that high and stay there. It doesn't work like that. You got to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You gotta do the work.
Yes. And then in addition to then I use the Reiki and the hypnotherapy. I do a lot of coaching in between. Then the hypnotherapy, I need more time with that, which I talk about. And I don't work with time. Like I say, okay, if you have a session with me, it's not about paying for 1 hour. I said, I don't work like that. When you come to me, it's all about your transformation. It could take 20 minutes, it could take 90 minutes. You have to be prepared to spend that time. I don't go by time.
Mm.
I mean, within reason, I'm not going to spend 5 hours, right? But within
Yeah,
reason, I work with you until you get the transformation that you need.
that
And
part,
that's what's
that's important.
important. For
Mhm.
some people, it's 10 minutes. For some people, it could take an hour. So this is the way I work. So don't,
Mm.
think about, okay, I paid so much and it's for the hour. It doesn't work like that.
Mm.
It's all about your transformation.
I love it. And then I noticed you were talking too of just about the tools that you start to equip people with, and what are some tools then that you're doing the hypnotherapy, you're doing the Reiki, and are there other tools when people are going away? Are they still imbibing in the Western traditional medical practices? Like, sometimes chemotherapy or sometimes
Mhm.
lots of medication, pharmaceuticals. So there's still, and is there coordination between you and some of their traditional medical people, or how does that work?
Well, absolutely, because I believe in working together, because it's, when we work together, we find results. So you work
Hmm.
together with your medical system because you still need all your testing done. You still
Hmm.
need your medical team. I'm not a doctor. And
Hmm.
that's the first thing I tell them. I'm not a
Hmm.
doctor. So you still need your medical team, but you work in addition to that. Like when I was going
Hmm.
through my chemo, I recite mantras, and I have all the different crystals around me, and I use sound healing, and
Hmm.
I have tuning forks. I have all these now, but when I was going through my own journey, I didn't have so many things. And what I did have was my mantras. And as that chemo, medicine was going through me, I'd look at it and envision it as an elixir
Oh,
going through my body and healing every cell in my body. And I
yes.
recite the mantras, and I play it on my phone next to me, because I'm sitting there for 5 hours through this treatment, right? And one thing I did, anyone that's listening, these are some of the tips that you can maybe follow. One thing that really helped me, because when you're going through chemo, um, you have no appetite, you cannot taste anything, uh, but your body needs some nutrition. And even though the medical team will tell you, oh, you can't take this or you can't take that, it's going to affect the results of the chemo.
Mhm.
Well, see, like I told you earlier, I don't listen to traditional stuff, right? I do what
Mm,
my body tells me it needs. And
very
you
important.
listen, your body will tell you what it needs.
Yes.
I found out that organic miso soup, is available in any store. You drink a cup of that before you go for your chemo. It provides that little bit of nutrition, and
Hmm.
it helps you get that little bit of strength. And then when I came back after the chemo, I'd have another cup of that, and that's all I had, really.
Hmm.
I could
Hmm.
not keep anything down, and I'd be out. And then after 2 weeks, I'd start to feel a little better again, and boom, you had to go for your next treatment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is how I found out. I studied, I researched, and these are all the information that I give to everyone that's working with me. And in my master classes, I give a lot of this information on diet and nutrition, and what really helped me through
Hmm.
this journey, and
Hmm.
like what can help you, and simple things like uh, writing a gratitude journal, starting a gratitude journal, being in
Hmm.
gratitude for every little thing that you have,
Hmm.
and manifestation. It just all comes naturally. So, but starting with the small steps, and working up. And cancer grows in your body for years and years and years. So you are not just going to heal it overnight.
Yeah.
No, you have to, it's a process.
Hmm.
It came with a message, to tell you to slow down, to take care of yourself. Your self-care is important. And because of that, you have to start with the small steps, and work on make that your routine, like brushing your teeth. Your self-care should be part of your daily routine.
I love that. And what resonated with me most deeply was your call to action of listening to yourself.
Yes.
Because I think that just in life in general, not just in medicine, we give away our agency to other people. You
Hmm.
mentioned it earlier, especially as women, we're always doing for others. We're always concerned about others. We want others to see us as doing well and being our best and being nice and being good. And
Yeah.
then we're taught to obey. So we get these doctor's orders and we want to do everything the doctor says when the doctor is going off a script. Like literally, it's called a
Mhm.
prescription. So it's
Yeah.
literally a script that he literally has, he or she or they are just kind of in many ways just reading off of,
Yeah.
based off what other people had deemed wasn't so good for someone else, to be honest.
Yes.
And so in this moment, you're really inviting people to tune in is which the part that I really love, because that's really what the metaphysical journey is about, is tuning
Yes.
into yourself.
Yes.
And not only are you listening to yourself, but if you can't listen to your first self, first ask yourself, what do I want? What does
Mhm.
my body need? What will
Yeah.
make me feel whole? And by just asking yourself those questions, then if you aren't necessarily hearing it from within, you're sometimes able to see the signs without. Like sometimes
Yes.
you're watching a TV show, or you may hear someone mention something to you. Like today, you talked about the miso soup that may
Yeah.
resonate with someone who is going through a tough
Absolutely.
time. So
Yeah.
I really, really love that you're encouraging people to tune in and listen to what your body needs. And
Mhm.
also, the part that was really stellar was with the cancer, and you saying that the cancer is sending you a message.
Yes.
And I love to say that because am a Tai Chi master. I just came off of that journey in October of last year.
Oh.
And I learned so much in that process of learning Tai Chi and listening to pain.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
right now I'm really struggling with menstrual cramps. I get really bad,
Yes.
monthly cramps. And before I used to want to pop, painkillers. I used to want to, make them go away as fast as possible. But now I'm really, actually eager to listen to these cramps that I used to
Yes.
just, I really would, I feel like most women, we dread it, that time of the month. And
Mhm.
it's an opportunity to listen to our body and listen to what our body is trying to tell us, because it's speaking to us. Our body has a voice too, from the organs that you
Yes.
mentioned before, and that the organs are connected to our energy. So
Mhm.
this is a really good opportunity. I hope that people listening to this can receive this, that when you're going through a health challenge, whether it's something as severe as cancer or some other kind of disease, or if it's something as simple as just your monthly, cycle, which we're all dealing with as women. And we have this pain in our body, to listen to the pain, to sit with the
Mhm.
pain.
Mhm.
And like you said, slow down,
Mhm.
be still. And for me, I like to do a little bit movement, a little bit of yoga through
Mhm.
the pain, so I can really tune into what my body is telling me.
Yes. Can I
Mhm.
share something with you, Erin,
Yes.
that might help many people? A simple thing that I do. And to me, meditation is not just sitting on a mat for hours and being silent, right?
Yeah.
Is
No.
that too. But
Yeah.
meditation is finding something that brings you joy and love to do, like for me, it's gardening, it's music. Find that joy and do that every day, and that will raise your vibration high. And then every time you feel down, think of something that made you happy, like that, and that'll raise your vibration. But what I want to really share is, when I go through my meditations or my process in the morning, even though I do the Reiki and I do everything else to help my body, but I always end with this. You can, people can write it down if they want. I always put my hands on my heart, and I always say, my body is intelligent and knows how to heal itself. And I take, after I do my breathing, some deep breaths, and I say that a few times. My body is intelligent
Body is
and knows
intelligent
how to
and
heal
knows how to
itself.
heal itself.
Yeah, my body is intelligent and knows how to heal itself. And then I also teach simple breathing techniques, and then I follow it. And like you were talking about the cramps, and breath is what connects us, right, to Mother Earth, Father Sky, you name it. That's what connects us to everything. And wherever the pain is in your body, breathe into that pain,
Hmm.
accept it, say, I know you there. I hear you. I feel you. It's okay. We can
Yeah.
go through this together, and
Yeah.
just breathe into that pain, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and the more you do it to show that I hear you, I know you there. And eventually, it'll go, oh yeah, she got my message. It's time for me to leave. And that's exactly what I told the cancer. Yeah. And I did, the journal that I wrote, the journal that I wrote, that I still write. I started in 2018 or 2016. I can't remember now. but that has turned into a book, and I've written 3 chapters and I put it away. So I think that book is talking to me now. It's ready to be born.
Yeah, it's
So
ready
I'm
to
going
be
to start working
revealed.
on it. Yeah, I'm going to
I
start
love to
working
hear
on it.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. My body is intelligent and knows how to heal itself.
Yes.
I
Isn't that
love that
powerful?
mantra. It's very powerful because it
Yeah.
speaks to the metaphysics of who we are. We are
Right.
we are conscious beings of intelligence, of intelligent
Mhm.
light.
Yeah.
And if we're not in acknowledgement of that gift, that is our direct connection to God. That's our direct connection to source.
Absolutely.
That's our
Yeah.
direct connection to the universe. And by
Yeah.
tapping into that and acknowledging that intelligence, it has
Mhm.
no choice but to be activated.
Yeah.
Be
And I think
activated.
a lot of times we tend to interfere with that
Mm-hmm.
intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and stop it or block that. So, and you know how that just came to me, that sentence, when I was meditating and I'm doing all this stuff, and I could hear my body telling me that, you know, I'm intelligent. I know how to heal myself. And I thought, oh, geez, I didn't acknowledge that. So let me start acknowledging it. So then I started doing that. I know you are there and I'm doing this to help you, but I know you are intelligent and know how to heal yourself. So
That's so
isn't that
beautiful.
so powerful? I still can't believe that it's that powerful. So anytime you're going through anything, even if you're not, you just say it. So you prevent something from coming on.
Mhm.
And I think it's just teaching you to focus inward and know that, hey, there's so much more than this physical body that we are.
Mhm. Yes,
So
absolutely. And I know we're kind of coming to the end of our time here, so
yeah.
I want to just allow you to share more about your resources because you mentioned a master class, you mentioned you have sessions. Talk a little bit more about your offerings.
um I started a Facebook group,
Okay.
and it's a closed Facebook group. It's called Cancer Freedom Sisterhood.
Okay.
And yes, and anyone that's going through the journey or knows of someone that's going through are welcome to join. I have lots and lots of free interviews on there, and just information that people will find informative, and questions. You can ask any kind of question, and somebody will answer your question. And I read all my comments, so I will be in there answering questions as well. And from the Facebook group, you can have connections to my website and my business page, and everything else. So I'd like people to first of all go there, because that's where I live stream my master classes, and
Okay.
all the information will be in the Facebook group. But
Nice.
my website also has a free gift. It's a workbook that you can download and work on. Sarasnaidoo.com, my name, .com. And so that's the other place you can go to find out more about me and what I do.
Awesome. I love to hear it. And of course, all those that are listening or watching will have these links in the show notes. Saras will provide
Yeah.
those for us so that we can include them for you in the links below.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say if there's anything else you want to close with, I mean, I'm sure you have some nuggets of wisdom for those that made it this far to the end.
You know, I this always comes to me when someone asks me that question. Uh, don't be afraid to receive. Look at receiving as a gift. When somebody gives it to you, especially when it comes like to money, right? Because that's your abundance. Anything you receive is abundance. It's not just money. So look at receiving something from someone else as a gift, because by you receiving that, you are giving the other person the opportunity of giving. And giving, we all know, we all love to give, right? That's a gift. So give the other person that opportunity of that gift of giving something,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
you receiving something.
mhm,
And I
mhm.
want to talk about, when I have 4 children and they live all over the world, and they all took turns to come and take care of us. And I was not used to that receiving. I'm always giving, 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 and doing things for them. But when I was going through my chemo and I was forced to lay on the bed and couldn't do anything, and, I get emotional talking about this. And when my children actually one by one came and sat with me and made a meal for me and actually fed me, I get emotional thinking about that. To me, that was the biggest gift I could ever receive. And to see the joy on their faces that I enjoyed what they gave to me. So please don't be afraid of receiving in love from somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
I received that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. uh,
That was perfect. Thank you so much, Miss Saras, for your
Thank you,
time,
Erin.
for your energy, for your gift of knowledge, your gift of wisdom, and your gift of very deep experience.
Thank
I'm
you
in
so much.
tears right now.
Yeah.
And for all of my listeners, thank you so much for following the Meta Business Millennial podcast, for listening to us today. And you know how to find me at I am Erin Patton on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. And of course, you can check out more resources on my website, themetabusiness.world. And of course, just continue to listen to the Meta Business Millennial podcast. We will catch you on our next episode. And with that, I love you all so much. Peace.
Yes, thank you.
Did you really love this episode of the Meta Business Millennial podcast? Well, I am honored, and I appreciate you subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends, because your feedback allows us to co-create more enlightened conversations. And if you're interested in growing your soul now, head over to my website, erinpatton.com, to find all the show notes, links, and free resources to get your energy activated today. In the meantime, stay bright, my friends. Much love and light. Peace.